afternoon, everyone, and I'd like to welcome everybody to the March meeting of the Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Commission. And I'll call this meeting to order. And to start off, I'm going to call on Dr. Bonner to do a prayer and the pledge for us, please, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Please join me in prayer, please. Dear Heavenly Father, today we pause with a grateful heart and a hopeful spirit. We want to thank you for the blessings you continue to pour in our lives, the lives of our family, and especially the life of this community. Let our daily choices and decisions reflect our trust in you. And may your light guide everything that we think, do, and say. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dr. Bonner. You are our prayer hero. For sure. Before we get started with new business, do we have anyone here for any public comments or anybody that needs to say anything from the public? I don't see anybody, so I think we're good there. So, members, you've got in front of you the minutes from our last meeting. If you'll look at those, and I'll entertain a motion that we hopefully accept those once you get a chance to look at them.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. Mitzi, call roll, please, ma'am. You forgot, didn't you?
Sorry. Yeah. Dr. Bonner,
Aye.
Mr. Miller,
Aye.
Mr. Montgomery,
Aye.
Mr. Seiler,
Aye.
Mr. Roediger, Mr. Wright.
Okay, all ayes, motion passes for the minutes. Okay, the first order of new business, we're gonna get a little report from Thomas on Rogers Park renovation.
Good afternoon, members of the commission. Thank you for having us. One of our latest projects is the Rogers Park renovation. It's advancing the community recreation through the local Parks and Recreation Fund. Part of that is to provide a presentation and to get your input and your approval for the application process. So we're going to move through. Of course, Murfreesboro, the latest census data, which I think is now out of date, has Murfreesboro at 168,300 plus residents. On our website currently, we list 1,200 acres of parkland that is maintained by the Parks and Recreation Department. That comes about 7.13 acres per 1,000 users. However, I'm happy to note that we will be updating the website with the completion of the Veterans Park and some other land acquisitions through donations. Our parkland is exceeding 1,500 acres. And that brings that to about 9.4 acres per resident, which is well above the national average. So the identified recreation needs were in the 2019 master plan and will also be in our current master plan we're working on. Rogers Park is located at 1115 Hunt Street. It's located in the center of the city. It's a 7.5 acre park that has walking trails, restrooms, picnic shelters, tennis courts, basketball courts, a playground, and a multi-sport field. The project cost will be a $500,000 renovation. We hope to match $250,000 from our capital improvement plan from Rogers Park itself, and also playground maintenance and replacements. To come up with the $250,000 of the city's part of that matching. The other portion will be through the land local Parks and Recreation Fund through the state grant. And we intend to complete this project well within the 3-year limit of that grant. So you can see our target demographics. This is just a rough draft of where Rogers Park sits in the vicinity of Murfreesboro. A lot of single-family homes adjacent to several underserved neighborhoods. So we hope to hit young adults. Our primarily target is the youth ages 6 to 18, because we understand that brings families in. Multi-generational users is important to us as well. And of course, everything we do in Parks and Recreation now is ADA accessible and has a strong emphasis on inclusive play. So the current location, you see in the next map, that's the existing location and amenities there at Rogers Park. And then there's that vicinity location. The other map shows you where we are in relationship to MTSU, and then lots of surrounding neighborhoods. Currently existing conditions, we have aging tennis courts that no longer get utilized, underutilized basketball courts, limited flexible programming space, deteriorating hard courts, but we have an opportunity to maximize this footprint. As you can see, tennis courts are in disrepair. The basketball courts are not fully functional. So we hope to modernize this existing infrastructure, address the court and field shortage throughout the city, provide a safe, AD-compliant amenities, and respond to this massive growth in demand in Murfreesboro. The site is suitable because of the existing park location site. It's previously graded sport court footprint, offers good opportunities. The utilities are easily accessible. We plan to have minimal environmental disturbance, and so it makes it very suitable for redevelopment. So what do we plan to do? We want to convert the tennis courts into a synthetic turf mini pitch, renovate the basketball courts with new bison goals and backboards that are standard within our system, resurface the basketball courts from 2 courts to make it 1 court, and then provide 3 pickleball courts, separate those courts with fencing, add lights, and then preserve all existing trees and sidewalks. So this is a mini pitch. This is what we hope to place over the existing tennis courts. This allows for very versatile programming, from field hockey to lacrosse to soccer. It's a contained environment, so it's optimal for leagues and tournaments. It also includes lights, and this is just one structure purchased in one as a prefab unit, and then will be installed by the contractors. We hope to convert the 2 basketball courts into 1 really nice basketball court, and then add pickleball courts. And then here's a picture of the bison goals and backboards that we'll install, and of course pickleball nets standard. And then this is the existing playground. Well, it's definitely served its purpose and served a lot of families. You can see it's starting to age. It's not quite the ADA standards or the inclusive play that we have in our park systems now, so we hope to replace that with a new inclusive playground. And this goes in line with a lot of other playgrounds where we promote cooperative play. It's features that encourage kids to play together. So this is the overview of the Rogers Park and where these amenities will go itself. We will continue to do in-house renovations of the pavilions and the restrooms as we do frequently, but they're in pretty good shape. Recreation programming, we'll be able to offer youth and adult soccer leagues, pickleball, open play clinics, basketball, open play, community tournaments, and informal recreation, but it'll make it a year-round multi-sport function. The mini pitch will have a turf surface, and then of course revitalizing those basketball courts and making pickleball courts helps keep that in year-round usage. So the community impact is to maximize the existing park footprint, conversion of underutilized hard courts to high demand use. Projected increase in participation should help enhance safety and accessibility, along with the addition of multiple lighted courts in the park. It improves the neighborhood quality of life, which supports our mission as a department. And of course, it supports public health departments. It also is in line with the statewide comprehensive outdoor recreation plan. It meets the Vision 2030 by increasing close-to-home recreation access, reinvesting in existing park infrastructure, and expanding youth-focused recreation opportunities. We will meet all ADA accessible standards, follow Title VI and Section 504 compliance. We'll install all grant-required signage, and of course, the park is already allocated for public recreation, but we'll continue to allocate that for perpetuity. We have already included that in our long-term maintenance plan, but a couple of things that we will do, we will now put those sport courts into our life cycle surfacing plan so that they get renovated every 5 years, just like our tennis courts, so we don't run into this again. And of course, it will continue to be dedicated public space. Through procurement, we will go through the city procurement process using competitive bids. We will verify through the system for award management, and we'll meet all the outdoor recreation grant management systems reporting compliance, working with our grant coordinator, Karen. It's a 3-year projected project timeline. Honestly, we think we can have this project done within the calendar year. But final completion and grant sign-off may take additional year, and then we'll continue to look for improvements. So we feel confident to be able to meet the 3-year criteria of the grant. So what we need from you is approval of the Rogers Park renovation, support a council resolution that is to go to council next council meeting, which is tomorrow night, and authorize the application for the 2026 LPRF grant.
Remind me what LPRF is.
It's the Local Parks and Recreation Fund through TDEC, so it's state funding. Typically, those grants were for larger projects, and historically, I think we built the Jordan Farm restroom facility with one of those. They were typically $500,000 or higher matching grants. But recently, due to backlogs or just adjustments in the state grant system, they've allowed for smaller grants, which is what they call mini grants. So we thought that would be a good way to get back into this process and learn their new process with one of those smaller grants with a project that was already in our capital programming. Long term, we hope to get through this grant and be able to make the next grant cycle with an even bigger project.
It's a very impressive plan. Anybody got questions? Thomas?
Yes,
There's
sir.
no question. It looks like a great project, and I'm very, very happy to see the department and the city taking advantage of these grant programs.
Thank you.
Let's keep it going.
And if anybody, Rogers Park is not easy to find. I mean, once on the first time you go. So if you haven't been by there, go try to search it out.
I've tried to look every time. Where is it? I don't know.
So
that I-
if you go down Martin Luther King Boulevard before you get to, what is that, Rutherford, there is a Tractor Supply right there. If you'll turn on that street right before the Tractor Supply and just keep going back through the neighborhood, you'll run into Rogers Park. It's not...
Deal Lane. I think it's Deal Lane.
Dill Lane runs into Hunt Street, and it's a true community park. There's about 6 community entrances throughout the 7.5 acres. The walking trails are heavily utilized, and there's kids in the park utilizing the playground. It's just these sport courts, it's no longer a good fit. It needs something that's a little more universal than a couple of tennis courts.
It doesn't seem like long ago we put all that out there. So
The 80s.
This is very exciting. Help me to understand, will the park itself be taken offline during the redevelopment process?
Our intention is to keep the park itself open, the walking trails, the pavilions. Most of the work will be isolated to these sport court areas. Of course, we'll close the playground when we get ready to redo the playground, but ideally, we keep the park operating throughout the construction process.
it's currently lit out there now.
No, sir.
So this will be a great improvement there too. So.
Right. The addition of lights brings traffic,
Yes.
so, you know, people don't, I guess the nefarious people prefer not to be in large crowds that are heavily lit, so that's kind of our goal.
Yeah, very good. Well, if there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion that we recommend and approve the Rogers Park renovation project and formally support a resolution to the City Council authorizing submission of the LPRF grant application.
Make a motion for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Mitzi?
Dr. Bonner?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Montgomery?
Aye.
Mr. Seiler?
Aye.
Mr. Roediger? Mr. Wright?
Motion passes. And,
Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. And, okay, the next item on the agenda, we're going to have, we've got somebody new. Is that right, Rachel? That you want to
correct.
that you want to introduce to us?
Yes, please, if I can. I'm excited to introduce to you, guys, Ms. Amanda Rodriguez. She has recently been promoted to Facility Coordinator in Outdoor Murfreesboro, where she'll oversee the Wilderness Station and our environmental education program. Amanda started with us in 2023, and this is already her third promotion. So that says a lot about her hard work, creativity, and drive. So we're super excited that she is taken this position and is going to lead Outdoor Murfreesboro in a new endeavor. Before she came to us, she was a elementary school teacher. She was a adjunct professor at MTSU for a little while, and then started her career with us. So I just want you guys to welcome Amanda, and she already has something to present today.
Well, congratulations. It's our privilege to have you promoted up here and keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
If you can get me to understand these new fees, then you'll be using your elementary schooling.
I love it. So I'm here today to propose an increase to our field trip fees associated for both public schools, private schools, as well as non-traditional school groups, such as like homeschool co-ops. So before we get into what I'm proposing, I wanted y'all to understand how we have been doing fees for field trips. Typically, large public schools that come to our facility for a field trip, we do a rotation system. So they will be attending 3 separate programs, and they all rotate, so they're all doing the same programs at different times. The fee for that, for 3 programs, currently equals $7 per student. So that's what it has been. What we're looking to do is to increase the fees to help offset activity supplies as well as recreation supplies that we utilize for field trips. So we're proposing for non-Title I public and private schools that they get the 3 40-minute program rotations at a flat fee of $10. For Title I public schools, there would be a discount, so it would be $8 total. And then for non-traditional school groups of 50 students or less, they could continue to do the same thing that our public and private schools are doing by having the 3 40-minute standard program rotations for $10. So we can stop there for a minute before I get into some different options that some of these smaller groups would have. But are there any questions about that so far?
Any questions? Doesn't sound too bad. That's good.
Okay. So for the non-traditional school groups of 50 students or less, since they have fewer students in their groups, we're able to do more various programming with them that we cannot accommodate larger groups to do, such as like bird of prey, owl pellet dissections, things of that sort. So if they wanted to pick something that is considered a non-standard program, they would be charged $5 for that first program, and then if they wanted to add on an additional standard program onto that, it would be $3 for any program beyond, which is similar to what our pay scale is now. So not that unfamiliar to groups that book field trips with us. And then, in addition to that, we are trying to impose a $50 non-refundable deposit to non-traditional school groups for them to book their field trips with us. And the main reason is because in our past 3-ish years that I've been working here, with non-traditional school groups, we have found that the rate of them not showing up for a field trip increases compared to our public school friends and private schools. So we're trying to find a way to kind of negate that to happen moving forward.
Questions?
Does the $50, is it even near covering the lost revenue?
So essentially, it's the same type of deposit we do for our birthday programming that we do at the Wilderness Station, and it's more or less just a way of them saying $50 would cover 10 students or less, which is the minimum group of students that we allow for a program. So I feel like it's at least something to, depending on the homeschool group or other group, kind of help them to want to show up.
So you think 50 is adequate as
With-
opposed to, say, 100?
The reason I think 50 would be a good place to start, at least, is because that would equal the minimum amount that a non-traditional school would pay for the 10 students.
All right, thank you.
Okay, no other questions? Do I have a recommendation that we approve the new fees for the field trips for the Wilderness Station and instill a $50 non-refundable deposit for the non-traditional groups to reserve the Wilderness Station?
So moved.
Motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor? Mitzi?
Dr. Bonner?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Montgomery?
Aye.
Mr. Seiler?
Aye.
Mr. Roediger?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Motion passes. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you.
Welcome to your new position. Got a new detective, Susan Hicks.
Yes. So I want to tell you about our Art Detective programs. It's a program kind of like Dungeons and Dragons where they create characters, plots, and a story is told, but it's going to be based on a mystery story like Clue. So each person will have their own character. They'll draw their character and any supplies their character needs to accomplish this quest or find out who is the murderer in the scenario. Our staff will write the story and it'll be facilitated by them, and it'll give these students, when they're done, the ages 12 to 18, a chance to have a book full of different types of art that they created through this program. This program is $5 per participant, which should cover all of our supplies and refreshments. And it should be held, it'll be held twice a month from 4:30 to 5:30. Do we have any questions?
I want Dr. Bonner on my team. It sounds like a blast.
It sounds like a really great program.
Yeah.
I think the kids are really going to like it.
I love that it's interactive as well as engaging
Yes.
for them. Sign me up.
I'm on her team now. That's what we want to do. Okay, any other questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the implementation of this new program?
I move approval.
Second.
Mitzi, if you'll call roll.
Dr. Bonner?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Montgomery?
Aye.
Mr. Seiler?
Aye.
Mr. Roediger?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Okay, motion passes. Susan, you are still up.
Yes,
so-
I am. So our next program we're going to talk about is our Downtown Art Sampler, which has been hugely successful. Once a month, they get together and do some form of art for beginners. It's $15 per participant. The ages have been 18 and up, and we want to change those ages to 16 and up so that we give that 16 to 18-year-old a chance to be able to come and participate. We've had some mothers that said they would love to do it with their daughters. We've had some fathers say it's a great date night for their children. So that we thought that might work out really well to change that age from 18 to 16.
Any questions on this program? See, it's at Bradley Academy. There's a whole bunch going on there all the
Yes, sir,
time.
there is.
Okay, I will entertain a motion that we approve this age change for this art sampler program.
Make a motion for approval.
All in favor, Mitzi, if you'll call roll, please.
Dr. Bonner?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Montgomery?
Aye.
Mr. Seiler?
Aye.
Mr. Roediger?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Okay, Miss Susan.
Okay, our last program is our photography walk, which I've seen some pictures from this, and it is absolutely beautiful, the stuff that they're coming up with. So they've been going over to the wetlands, the Murphy Spring wetlands, and have had huge success with taking nature photography over there. Great pictures of turtles and otters and hawks and all kinds of animals over there. So we also want to change the age for that program from 18 and up to 16 and up for the same reasons as before, but to give that 16 to 18-year-old age group a chance to be able to participate in these programs. This program is free, and it's open to whoever wants to sign up, and it's just a LED program that they go through and take pictures together.
Participation has really been good, I
Yes,
suppose?
it has, and there has been some beautiful work. I'm sorry I didn't bring any today for y'all to see.
Any questions on this program? Do I have a recommendation that we approve the new age range?
Move approval.
Second.
Mitzi?
Dr. Bonner?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Montgomery?
Aye.
Mr. Seiler?
Aye.
Mr. Roediger?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Motion passes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You got a lot going on, as always. Dr. Jenkins, how are you today?
Great.
Good.
Good afternoon, Commission. The Patterson Park Outdoor Improvement Project has elevated our campus for an increase in park usage and accessibility for the community. Our Patterson Park Outdoor Improvement Project consisted of a brand new inclusive playground with splash pad and enhancements with our existing parking lot, with adding additional 85 parking spaces. The addition enhanced our parking capacity to 285 total parking spaces. So as we prepare for the warm months ahead, we anticipate an increase in attendance for our pavilion and green space rentals. Therefore, we're creating an enhanced fee structure, and we are asking for your approval for that fee structure. The fee structure will align us with the pavilion and green spaces throughout the department, specifically with the pavilion and green spaces that are located at Sportscom and the pavilion and green space at Oaklands. We provided a proposed fee structure for you to review. So we are requesting to increase the Patterson Park pavilion fees to $90 for a half day and $150 full day rental for non-city residents, and a city resident pavilion rental fee of $75 for half day and $130 for full day. Once again, that'll align us with all of our pavilion rentals throughout our department. Additionally, we're requesting to increase the Patterson Park Green Space rental fee to $125 for half-day rental and $200 for full-day rental with a pavilion rental requirement. Our current rental fees for Patterson Park pavilions are $75 for a half day and $125 for a full day, and our city residents receive a 20% discount. And the current rental rate for the Patterson Park green space is $35 for a half day and $60 for a full day. We always appreciate your continued support of Patterson Park, and we are here to answer any questions that you have regarding the proposed rental fee increase for the green space and pavilion.
Very good. Questions for Dr. Jenkins? I got on so right now they can rent green space for $35.
That is
And green space is just green space, it's grass?
Yes, it's what we used to call the field at our facility. So now our term is the green space. So you will see a green space is also located at Oakland's, the green space there, as well as SportsCom at the McKnight Park.
Okay.
So those spaces make us a little bit more unique throughout the park system when you have the option to reserve the green space coupled with the pavilion. And so our main goal is just to align it with the department to have better consistency throughout.
Okay, all right. So now, when they get the green space, they have to get the pavilion rental with it?
Yes, that
Okay,
is
and
correct.
That just aligns with everything else?
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct.
Okay.
Now help me with my age group. Was that the Holloway High School football field?
That is correct.
Okay, all right. Where all the legendary football players.
Hey.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I got you.
We are still preserving that field. We just upgraded the title to green space.
All right, thank you.
Were you a cheerleader?
I was in the marching band.
There you go.
Oh, my.
There you go.
Watch out.
Any questions for Dr. Jenkins? Okay, do I have a motion that we accept or recommend these proposed fee adjustments?
I move to recommend.
Mitzi, if you'll call roll.
Dr. Bonner,
Aye.
Mr. Miller,
Aye.
Mr. Montgomery,
Aye.
Mr. Seiler,
Aye.
Mr. Roediger, Mr. Wright.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jenkins. Okay, next item of business. Andra?
My name is Andra Pruitt.
Okay, great.
And I'm with Outdoor Murfreesboro Natural Resource Division, where I coordinate the Murfreesboro Indigenous Plant Project. And I'll be giving you an update today on our achievements from 2025, as soon as I can pull up the screen. And, oops. There we go. So the Murfreesboro Indigenous Plant Project is our initiative to promote the conservation and landscape use of the native plants of Rutherford County and the Central Basin of Middle Tennessee. Sorry, 1 second. I forgot how to advance the slide. Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you for that. And our goals are very simple. It's just to increase the native plants in our parks. And we do that through 3 strategies. The first strategy is our natural lands management, where we do this primarily through invasive plant removal. And in 2025, we focused our efforts in our parks that have rare plants. And interestingly, Rutherford County has the highest amount of rare plant species of any other county in Tennessee, and we've identified 12 state-listed species of concern right here in our parks, 5 of which are critically imperiled. Our second strategy is growing our own plants through our native nursery, and these are plants that are put back into our natural areas as well as into our native gardens. Many of the plants that we grow are not available through the horticulture trade, and the ones that are typically grown in northern climates such as Illinois and Minnesota. So the plants that we grow are harvested from southern seed sources, and they perform better in our climate of Murfreesboro. Some highlights from our native nursery. We moved to the Oakwood property, and we propagated 2,000 native plants, and we installed 647 of those back into our parks, saving us $3,300, which we would have had to pay had we bought those from a wholesale nursery. We also grossed over $3,500 in revenue at our fall plant sale during the Conservation and Action Expo, which was our highest grossing plant sale to date. Our third strategy is our native gardens, and these are proving to be very popular with the public. Last year, we focused primarily on the Murphy Spring Botanical Garden, and we completed our third of 3 phases in our planting plan, and we completed it on time. And the park got written up in the Murfreesboro Pulse for 2 articles, one of which went viral, and the story got picked up by WKRN News in one of their segments. A little sneak peek for 2026. We will be installing aquatic plants at the Murphy Spring Pond in the Botanical Garden. We're also updating the garden beds at Barfield near the Wilderness Station and the Patterson roundabout bed, and these are renderings of what they'll look like when the plants fill in. And this would not be possible without our amazing volunteer group. We had 532 volunteer hours specifically for the Murfreesboro Indigenous Plant Project volunteer events. And our volunteer events lately have been filling up, so we've had to turn people away. Most of our volunteering goes towards garden maintenance, but everything from data entry, seed cleaning, that's what they help us with. So in summary, it's been a very popular program that connects our people to our Tennessee natural heritage plants. We believe that native plants will be a big attraction to our Murfreesboro parks. And I'd just like to thank everybody who's supported our program, and it's an honor to work for the city of Murfreesboro in this project.
Very cool. Any questions? Can you go back to that slide that had like all the plants
Sure.
for Tennessee?
Yes.
I want to make a picture of it so I can start looking for them. That's what I want. You know, so that's amazing right there. And then all the volunteer folks that you have. I was going to ask, you know, do you have a group doing that? And obviously you got to that. So.
Yes, we have. Anybody can sign up to volunteer, and you can be a brand new beginner, or you could be an experienced master gardener or naturalist. And what will often happen is we have some regulars that like to help out at our garden events, and they'll work alongside with high school students to learn about the plants and get the weeds out. And our project was recently approved by the Rutherford County Master Gardeners as an official project, so they get volunteer hours towards their certification by helping us out. So we've got some good expert help helping us out.
It's a great program, and thank you for doing it. It gets more and more important. And on a not native species question for someone, as far as I had a constituent call the other day who was walking on the Greenway in Walter Hill and kept seeing a lot of bamboo. And I'm not going to identify the former congressman, but he was concerned and was telling me every time he would spot some. How are we fighting? And again, this may not be you. How are we tackling that problem?
There are 2 kinds of bamboo that we'll find out in the Greenway, and depending on the plant, it could be one of our native bamboos. We used to, before agriculture, land use change hundreds of years ago, there were bamboo forests, and it was habitat for the Carolina parakeet that has gone extinct. So there are what they call natural cane breaks, so we like those. As far as invasive bamboo, we try to get as many invasive removals as we can, but there's only so many hours in the day with our staff. But yeah, I mean, it's something.
Also,
Like a battle with privet.
right.
Yes.
I was going to add privet and even kudzu along our greenway area. We do a lot of volunteer events like Andra was talking about. We also contract with IPC, which is a professional organization that can send teams out and help eradicate. So we try to do that in certain areas too.
I was at the Walter Hill Trailhead, and it looked like a lot of good work had been done there, not only on the trailhead itself, but on clearing out the things going on up. So.
We'll keep it going.
I have another question. I see that it's some are imperiled, critically imperiled, etc. Do you collect seed, or do we buy seed? And will we ever have so much seed we could share it with the public who might want to plant it?
That's a
on their
great
own
question. So the critically imperiled, that's a state-listed ranking of how imperiled the species are. And if the seeds are on our park, we have right to responsibly collect them. We don't want anybody collecting, but expert people, so we don't overharvest. And so we've started a conservation breeding program for some of those imperiled species that we are collecting data in terms of germination rates and what's the best way to grow them. To get the scale of seeds to sell would require a big agriculture field of that plant to put it in a production plot. So it might be feasible in the future, but given our limitations, we just want to make sure that the plants that we have in the park stay there.
Sounds like a great mini grant.
I agree.
Just think about it.
We also do that on a small scale with our plant sales, and so that's a real educational point too. As we get people in and want to learn how to use natives in their own landscaping, we're able to help facilitate that, even though it's on a small scale.
Thank you.
Okay, no other questions? Andra, thank you so much. Very interesting and good work.
Thank you.
Mary Beth, got an anniversary?
Hello. She's a little taller than I am. This summer, as we celebrate the 250th birthday of the United States of America, we are also celebrating the 50th anniversary of Cannonsburg Village, which will be full of patriotic decorations to show our American spirit. Cannonsburg was established in 1976 by a committee to honor the bicentennial of the United States. It's a pioneer village that shares the history of our area from the 1800s to the 1940s. And on July 26, 1976, it officially opened for visitors. Today, Cannonsburg Village showcases 20 structures and houses, and over 2,000 artifacts are in its collection. On June 26th of this year, from 3 until 6, we will celebrate by looking back at the last 50 years and looking ahead to the future. So we would like you to mark your calendars for June 26th from 3 until 6 p.m. We will have bluegrass music in the gazebo, Southern gospel music in the Williamson Chapel, blacksmithing demonstrations. The Murfreesboro Art League will have a display of art that is themed to Cannonsburg, games and activities such as horseshoe pitching, which was also featured on opening day in 1976, and of course, village tours that we can share our community's history. Do you have any questions?
What did you say the time was?
3 to 6 p.m.
On June the 26th.
It's on a Friday. They called it Cannonsburg Day.
Any questions? Sounds great. Sounds like a lot of fun. It'd be a good day out there. I'd like to, I can remember Mr. Charlie Williamson, who was instrumental very early on. I don't know if any of you guys remember Mr. Williamson, but he was one of the originators of moving the first buildings over there, or the first cabins or sheds or something over to Cannonsburg. So,
He was, and the Williamson Chapel is
there
named
you
in his
go.
honor.
Okay, very good. He was a fine man, so. And a lot of fun, Dr. Bonner.
I can imagine.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Rachel, you gonna give us a financial report?
Well, you have in your packet the 7-month revenue report, and we look like we're meeting the anticipated goals of our budget. Everything looks good on our end. We don't have any concerns. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Miss Leroy right here, don't we? He was our financial guru. Any questions? Everything looked good, Rachel? Nothing, you don't see anything out of the,
Everything looks great. We did recently, it's not included in this obviously, but we had just a stellar opening day for our camp registration too. So that will really help with our revenues.
did, speaking of the camp, not to get away from this, but everything fill up? I mean, did it go just real quick?
Everything is almost full. We still have some openings on a few camps, but yep, it just shows the popularity and the grit of our staff that really puts on some great programs.
I hear from parents too, they're like, I was on there at 8 o'clock, and, they're trying to get through. So, okay, very good, very good. Any questions for Rachel on the financials? Okay, thank you, Rachel. Lynn? I know you got a bunch.
Good
You always
afternoon.
do.
Yes, of course. We've got a lot going on. And we were really excited about our camps filling up so quickly. Sorry, right here. There we go. Okay. One thing I did want to address was that we're working on, Thomas kind of made reference to it a little bit, is our survey, our Something for Everyone that we're working on with our master plan. And hopefully you've seen some of the marketing campaign that we've had out there with the We Want to Know. So we're working on the public engagement piece of that. And in the next month, we will come back to you guys and get your feedback and your opinions and so forth on that. But we do have that out there. We've got about, I think the last time we looked, about 1,500 responses from the public so far. So that's going really well, and we're excited about that. Here's just a few things that we have coming up. Our Daddy-Daughter Dance, which is always just a great event for us, is March 14th, and that is sold out already. So we are really excited about that. That's an incredible evening. Outdoor Murfreesboro has a lot of events always. One of theirs that's coming up this weekend is the campfire events, and that is March 6th, and then we have another one open on March 20th. That's where you guys can come out to the wilderness station. They'll take you up to the campgrounds, do a campfire, roast marshmallows, just a great family event. We have the underwater egg hunt coming up March 28th, and that's kind of our twist on the egg hunt because it's underwater, and that is another great event. Our Miracle League games open on March 27th and 28th, and I think we gave everybody just a calendar update so you can see when all of those games are. Pioneer Days is at Cannonsburg, and that's April 25th. That'll be from 10 to 4. And then, of course, Cultural Arts, Wilderness Station, our fitness programs, all of those have events, and they're always on our website. Any questions?
Looks great, Lynn.
Thank you.
Gonna be busy a month or two. Thomas, The Miracle League, is anything going on out there right now, or is it waiting until
Starts to-
27?
Well, they'll start practice here in the next couple of weeks and have uniform pickup, the traditional things in the next few weeks. But they did extend my contract, I think, based on the fact that I have the highest ERA in baseball. I'm in the rotations.
And the biggest smile, too. That's for sure. Don Turner, you want to give us an update on the golf commission?
Yeah, I was going to brag on Old Fort here for a minute. As most of you know, back in 2024, we had a complete renovation of the course. And now we've received some national recognition of the renovation through Golf Digest, who is probably one of the most popular golf magazines, been around for a long time. They took a survey of all new courses and all renovated courses all over the United States, and Old Fort was given an honorable mention. But then they had a second category, courses that had green fees of $75 or less countrywide. Old Fort placed third. So we got some national recognition from Golf Digest. Also, we've got, as of February, we got a new fleet of golf carts, and they are nice. They're kind of an upgrade from what we had, but we've got a complete new fleet of golf carts. And I just wanted to thank Mayor McFarland and especially the City Council for backing these projects and especially for funding them. And I think now we've got one of the better golf courses around, which is owned by the city and is open to the public. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Don, and thank your commission, for everything they do. 'Cause it really shows out there, and everybody brags on the course. So, is there any other business to come before us today? If not, again, I want to thank all the presenters. Excellent job. I want to thank all the staff for having the best recreation program in the country. There's no question in my mind, and we keep on moving forward too. So thank you, everybody, and we'll stand adjourned.